Hello everyone, this is Chromý and together we will continue the course Interdisciplinary Approaches to Language and its Use. In this presentation we will stay in the field of language comprehension research and we will focus on the constraints which influence how do we process sentences. We already said that for sentence comprehension we need to recognize the words and parse the syntactic structure. However, we also said that there may be other factors or constraints which may influence the whole process of sentence understanding. Now we can ask which factors do actually have an influence on this process. In the last presentation, we briefly discussed the garden path sentences like "while Erica dressed, the boy in the room cried." While reading these sentences, we tend to initially analyze nominal phrase "the boy" as an object of the verb dressed. But this analysis is undermined when we encounter the verb cried. Historically, this process has been modeled so that the reader or hearer chooses the simplest syntactic structure at the given moment. However, model of this type is too simplistic because it does not account for the influence of various non-syntactic factors. Since the 1990s, the interactive models of sentence comprehension have been developed. Often, these are called constraint satisfaction models. The main assumption underlying these models is that more analyses are activated at once and that these analyses differ in the level of their activation. Moreover, the level of activation is changing in the course of hearing or reading of a sentence, and it depends on various sources of information. Importantly, these sources of information may not be specific to language. For the sentence, "while Erica dressed, the boy in the room cried," presented in isolation, it would mean that when encountering the nominal phrase "the boy," we would activate both the first clause object analysis and the second clause subject analysis. But the object analysis would be activated much more than the other one. When we encounter the verb cried, the activation of the first clause object analysis will go down and the activation of the second clause subject analysis will get stronger. However, if we would, for example, know the fact that Erica never ever dresses the boy, the object analysis would be activated to a lesser extent. Among the factors which may influence the degree of activation of a particular structure are frequency, plausibility, and the real-world knowledge more generally, and also the context. We will briefly discuss each of these factors in the next 3 lectures. Before we will conclude this presentation, I have one reading tip for you. If you would like to learn more about the interactive models in sentence comprehension, you should read a review article by Mary Ellen MacDonald and Mark Seidenberg from the Handbook of Psycholinguistics. If you enjoy the presentations, we would be glad if you would like them on YouTube. That is all from me now. See you next time.